Hi, welcome back to part 4 of our Swift project. Now, as you saw, we didn't have a great time on the dyno last time out, so today we're going to try and deal with some of those issues, see if we can get to the bottom of the problems we are having, get that power figure back up. There's a couple of other little bits I need to sort out, ready for our race next weekend. Need to finish off my washer bottle relocate into the boot. Got a bit of a hose connection to check out underneath the wing down here, which I think is disconnected, and a few other little bits and pieces just to tidy up, an oil change and a few other bits just to get us prepped, as I said, for that race next weekend. So join us, find out how we get on. As I've mentioned previously, we did get this car prepped for an event that it didn't quite make it to last year. So as a part of that, I already did some of the washer bottle relocate. So I did actually get the bottle mounted, pumps in, and the hoses connected up at this back end. I've got power to it, I know that it works. It's all wired into the original switches from the dash stalks. However, I did come up with a problem whilst I was testing it the other day, because I didn't quite finish the install when I did it previously. So I thought I'll test it, see how we get to. Now, I did come across a little bit of a problem with that. So, the hoses are original, running through the car, but as you can see with this taped up bit up here, this hose is disconnected somewhere behind here. Now, unfortunately, this connection is actually behind the wing. I've pulled this back down because I've got a very wet footwell down here. This was full of water while I was testing it. Then found that this was loose. This is full of water, so under pressure, this just pumps straight out of here, as you can imagine. So I'm gonna have to take the wing off and probably the bumper as well, I'm guessing, to get to that connection now, just to see if we can sort it out. So let's get this bumper and this wing off, and let's see if we can find this missing hose. Exposed now where those hoses run. You can see some of these from when the arch liner is removed, but what I actually want to do is I want to basically get rid of all these extra hoses. So this hose here is what connects into the hose that's inside. Basically loop these two in here, connect them together at this point, and just send this straight up here into the bonnet. So we've now got the factory hose poked back down through the hole. Can't really get a grommet in there, to be fair, so I'll probably just put a bit of silicone around it just to make sure that hole is fully sealed, but it will have an arch liner and another weather shield sitting over it, so I'm not too concerned. But now that hose is in there, I'm going to shut the bonnet, test these jets actually work and we don't get any leaks before I then worry about doing anything else and putting it all back together again. Let's see if we get any water out. Well, that looks like good news. Can't see any leaks in here. Doesn't look like we've got any leaks outside as well. We'll get the wings put back together. I do need to trim the hose down slightly just to make sure that it's perfectly to size, because it's a little bit long, but other than that, we seem to be good. I'm going to give it one more quick test just to make sure we don't get any leaks. I am going to have a little bit of a clean, some of these inaccessible areas, just getting rid of some of this dirt and debris while I'm here. Just a quick wet. So, a lot of this has been apart underneath here. I have got a bit of a confession to make. I did miss, or at least dropped out, one of the spaces that sits below the injector rail. So that definitely will not have been helping matters. My mechanic friend did find that for me, thankfully. So at least that's one thing we think we've ticked off the issue list. Did find that the O2 sensor was a tiny bit loose, so I've tightened that up. Now gonna have a good go through and see if we can find anything else underneath here or in this front section and below down the intake, and just see if we can find anything that's unplugged, anything else that's not happy. Have given it a bit of a test drive on the road. It does feel better now, having got that spacer back in. I'm going to try swapping another ECU into it, see if that makes any difference, because we've got a couple of different maps we can try. And also, I'm going to have a look at the exhaust. It sounds like there's a little bit of a blow, so I'm going to see if I can locate that as well. And hopefully, fingers crossed, between those bits, that'll get us back to where we need to be for a dyno run later this week. We're going to do an oil change while I'm here. Going to run a bit of engine flush through it, just because it's been sat for a little while before we started doing all these bits of oil flush to it. We'll also then see if we spot anything else while we're underneath it and go from there. Right, sports fans, we've now got the Monster Sport ECU in. The RRP map didn't bring up any EML lights, so there was no issues on that front. So I've now swapped back to the Monster Sport ECU. It's had a little bit of a moment when I first plugged it in with a few warning lights, but now I've gone back to as we were with nothing new. So let's take you for a little spin again and see how this one feels. Certainly doesn't feel as peppy again as I would hope it would. I would still say it's not quite where it wants to be, if I'm being truthful. So as you saw, road test didn't quite go as I'd hoped. I was hoping to find a problem that would just magically solve all of our issues. Unfortunately, we didn't. We are going to go back to the dyno, see if we can find out if that has made any difference whatsoever, putting that spacer in, the Titan bolt, a couple of sensors we nipped up. Fingers crossed one or all of those things has made some kind of difference, but we'll find out very shortly once we get back on the dyno, we'll know for sure. So that's probably going to close me out for today. I've got a few more bits I'm going to do over the weekend, which I'll show you shortly. Now, you've probably heard me mention a couple of times about the amount of swarf that's in this car. As you'll probably see if we get down here and close, you'll see it is absolutely everywhere. So, order of business for this part is we're going to get rid of all of this nasty ass metal swarf that is absolutely everywhere, because I pulled so many strands of it out of my hands yesterday, and as you can see it is absolutely everywhere. So you join me as I'm back clutching at straws. We obviously didn't get very far with finding a resolution over the weekend to our issues. Now, as I mentioned previously, I have installed a low pressure thermostat in here. Now, do I believe this is the problem? Not necessarily, but I am going to swap it out for a standard one for our dyno run tomorrow, just to try and isolate as fewer problems as possible that it could potentially be. I'm also going to swap out the mass sensor. The mass airflow sensor that's in there is a factory one in this intake already. I'm going to give this one a clean just in case and slap it in. Again, it's just removing another possible problem ahead of our dyno run, which is in the morning. It's going to be a late night, I suspect, to try and get this in, so let's see how we go. Colour of that sky tells you a lot about my last few hours. Finally bleeding the radiator. It's fought me a lot, to say the least. A couple of challenges along the way. Injector seal had cracked, so I had to disassemble the fuel rail once, then realised there was a slight coolant leak. Intake manifold off. We are now all back together at 20 to 12 PM. Run it up, get it bled, ready for a dyno first thing in the morning. So, it is an ungodly hour. The cooling system is bled. Now to find out if any of that has made any discernible difference to the Swift. If anybody tells you building race cars is glamorous, they are lying to you, just so we are clear. It feels quite peppy, but I'm not sure if that's just me being a bit delirious, although the EML light has just come on, which is mildly concerning. I don't know, team. It feels like an improvement, but we'll find out very soon if that's wishful thinking. Morning after the night before, back on the dyno. It was a late night last night, as you saw. Hopefully, a combination of the spacer missing on the injector rail, a new MAF sensor, a different injector rail as well, removing that low pressure thermostat. Fingers crossed, we're going to get somewhere near where we should be. Let's hope. Couldn't find anything else at fault, so if it is something else, then I don't actually know how I'm going to fix it at this stage. We race on Saturday, today is Tuesday, so fingers crossed, wish me luck. Join us inside and we'll see how we get on. Do one more run on this map And then we're going to swap it over to another ECU.
You reckon there's more in that? Where did you get to then? 6.2?
6.4.
Well, 7's kind of your limit. Tease it a bit higher, let's go again. I want as much out of it as possible for my own ego purposes. So let's do one more on that ECU and then we'll switch it over.
Yeah,
If you think there's more to come, let's do it again.
So far we're at 109 horsepower on the TM squared. ECU number 2, this is the Monster Sport remap. So let's see what we get here. 109.6 horsepower, 123.6 Newton meters of torque. That's what we've got previously on the TM squared. So let's go again.
Run a 114.7, 136 Newton meters. So might be the Rolls Royce after all.
I'd be the Rolls Royce. And the midsection's so much better.
It is. Way better. Way better. So yellow and white is also on that last run, isn't it?
We're going to run that once more on the Monster Sport.
Hundred 17.
$117 and 138.5 Newton meters. We're going up.
That first run there, 115, 137. Slightly down on the Monster, but close. That friggin' is 116. Torque's up though.
Yeah.
Torque figure's up.
They were wobbly.
I noticed that. It went all over the place, didn't it? About 5k for a second. But that torque figure's slightly higher than previous, isn't it?
And when it spiked there, I don't know if it's true.
It's weird, that little spike in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah. Might just do another one to see if it spikes again.
I was going to say, let's see if that spike comes back, because the first one didn't show it, did it?
Right, we'll try one more run.
Yeah, I think the second to last.
I think so. Monster Sport looks like the winner to me.
So successful morning on the dyno. All that work was worth it in the end. 117 odd horsepower at the hubs. So that's taken us pretty close to that 140 at the fly that we were told that the maps can do. Supporting mods are obviously working well now. A couple of bits that we changed. Not 100% sure if it was one or all of them, but suffice to say that's a happy result. So I can now go into the rest of the week prepping for the race at the weekend, knowing that the car is running well, it's happy, and giving us some half decent power figures for a little Swift. So progress, good news. So for those of you who've been following us all the way through, you'll obviously have seen our original dyno run was at 94.3, ignoring our little blip in between. This is then what we managed to pull out on the revised numbers. So the Monster Sport at the top is what we're actually using. And that's got the 117 and 138.5. You'll see the RRP is pretty close, but the curve was nowhere near as smooth and had a few spikes in it. The TM squared was a little bit lower. Now that's probably because of the mods we've done not really working well with that map. It's not to say it's a bad map per se, but the Monster was the winner, so that's what we've stuck with. Joined us down at Queenstown Tyre and Service, our friends who always do all of our work, tyres and alignment wise on all of our vehicles, WAFs as well. So if you need any help with any of those kind of things in the Queenstown area, make sure you give them a check out. Always happy to help, pricing's pretty keen too, and the service is always great, so highly recommended, give them a shout. So we've just had our alignment done, got all the geometry set up. So this is our first drive after its visit to Queenstown Tyres and Service, having that alignment done. Previously the steering was obviously off centre and we had a bit of toe in and toe out on all sorts of different wheels from where we've been playing around with different bits of suspension and steering. Now all of that is sorted, so this is the first drive really where everything is dialed in now. The engine is obviously running sweet. And we've also got our alignments all sorted. So this now is really the first proper drive with everything actually as it should be and as it will be on race day. Right, let's have a play. Oh, she feels good. Now that is just about a wrap for episode 4. As you can see behind me, we have now fitted a lovely carbon bonnet, which is a Monster Sport item as well. A couple of other little bits we've done since, but majoritively now the car is ready to go. Alignment is done. We obviously got our dyno numbers to where they need to be. A couple of little bits we did do inside, roll cage padding, a couple of other little bits tidied up, but generally speaking, it's pretty much as you guys saw it last time. Now ready to go racing. So join us in part 5 where we will be on the racetrack. Today is actually Thursday. Saturday is race day, so tomorrow we've got a few bits of prep to do, just getting tools and gear ready and everything else, and then we'll be off to the Highlands to go and do our endurance race. So join us in part 5 and you'll see how that goes. Hopefully we finish. That's the first battle. If we finish well, that's a bonus. Anything but stone dead last will do, team.